What is the difference between a real story and a fake story? And what's the difference between real journalism and fake journalism? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So I want to get into that right now. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Doc and I'll be your host here on EDI Sports Show, where we go over sports, sports cards, and life. And today is a life lesson having to do with the sports card hobby. And it's this story right here, which is all from Darren Rovell and Cllct on the Probstein failed attempt at running a auction site that's going to compete with eBay. Now, I thought the idea was actually really good. We need a competitor to eBay. The problem is that Rick Probstein's site, Snipe, failed, like miserably. Within the first week, they couldn't run a single auction. Now, there's a lot of allegations, a lot of rumors as to why that is. Again, there are allegations now that Rick Probstein is a fraudster, that he committed shill bidding and all these other things. Again, there is no evidence to prove that. Again, I know that Dan the Card Man has put up, again, some internet sleuth evidence, but that's not real evidence. Again, anybody on the internet can pull metadata and make any conclusions they want, but the problem is that the people on the internet don't actually know the real story. They're just like pulling different pieces of data and then making conclusions that don't actually lead to the conclusions that they're making. And this is where things get kind of sideways on the internet, as you probably already know. Now, the world is more complicated than that because we used to have, I guess, news outlets like NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News, where journalists, real journalists, used to have integrity, and they used to know the rules of journalism, which is that you cannot report a story that you don't know the truth, or at least you don't have evidence of. And if you want to report a story that's all about rumors and allegations, then you at least need to say who the person is that's making the allegation, and then say in the next sentence, there's zero evidence to prove these allegations. Because if you don't do that, you have no integrity. And unfortunately on the internet, this is the problem, is that people like to make allegations. Nobody likes to take responsibility for those allegations. Again, there are rumors and allegations that Rick Probstein is a fraudster and committed shill bidding on his own site. Here's the issue. Who is making those allegations? That's what you need to start asking is, wait a minute. All of these rumors and allegations are made by whom? Because if you don't know who's making the allegation, then where are they coming from? And anyone can say, oh, there's rumors and allegations about you being a fraudster. Like, that's just not how the world works. Well, I mean, it's the way the internet works, but it's not the way the real world works. If you want to accuse someone of something, then you need to stand behind the accusation. And if you're too afraid, if you're a coward to do that, then your allegation and rumor is kind of suspect. And that's kind of what's happened. So Dan the Card Man, who I think is a great YouTuber, if you're not subscribed to his channel, please go subscribe. He has been covering this story, and unfortunately, he has also got no evidence whatsoever to prove what is going on. He just has internet sleuths who have been sending him information, and if you guys actually have real tips or news on this story, please reach out to me and let me know. I have reached out to my sources, and nobody has any information. I tried to get in touch with Rick Probstein for an official statement. Again, you guys saw when I was able to clear Teapot's name, I got an official statement from Patrick Ryan. I know that story got into a little bit of controversy because Jeff Wilson stole my story. Again, he posted Patrick Ryan's apology note. This is the letter, and said that it came to him. It didn't go to Jeff Wilson. It came to me, and I'm the one that broadcast it on air. Anyway, if you're new here, I just passed the 3,000 subscriber mark. I want to thank everyone on this Thanksgiving for doing that. I am so grateful for my community and for you guys on YouTube. I love the comments. I get so many good comments. If you do have any news or tips on the hobby in sports and in life, just contact me on Instagram. I'm going to be creating a news and tips hotline, so I'll get a number out to you guys as well. So just keep subscribing and keep coming back. Anyway, this is the story that Darren Rovell reported. So here it is. And the issue with this story, and Sports Card Radio called him out on this, and they called it fake news and fake journalism. And what I want everybody to understand is it's not fake news. It's just not news. This story is not news. And I think Darren Rovell kind of wanted to get something out, and the problem is he had nothing. Like, he has no story. So he printed whatever he could print, and it's not very good. So there's a difference between fake journalism and just sort of like creating a story out of nothing, and that's sort of what we're seeing, and which is why Sports Card Radio had every right to call Darren Rovell out, because it's sort of like, why did you write this? Like, why did you publish this story when you don't know what's going on? So he only has one piece of, like, one source. Like, it's Rick Probstein, and Probstein didn't tell him anything, or he's not telling him anything on the record, which means Darren Rovell doesn't have anything to report, except that Rovell kind of missed the boat on what the real story is, which is Probstein failed. Like, Snipe failed. It started a lot of hype from Probstein, like, this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't even last a week. Like, that's an epic failure. And there's many reasons for that epic failure. Again, I don't know the real reason, but I mean, I would assume, since I'm not a very tech savvy guy, and I'm sure Rick Probstein is also not a very tech savvy guy, that whoever he hired to build his website just wasn't very good. And so however much money he spent on building it, he got robbed. I mean, that's it. But I mean, what else is new? I mean, the people that work in the internet, work in, website development and app development, a lot of these people are fraudsters themselves. I mean, we all know about the crypto zoo problem with, Logan Paul. That was a complete fraud. Again, Logan Paul because Logan Paul's not a very tech savvy guy either. He's not a bright guy. He knows how to market. But he hired someone to develop an app and develop a meme, and that guy was a known fraudster. The guy had already stolen money from other people, so he ended up stealing money from Logan Paul, who then ended up stealing millions of dollars from his audience. Again, this is the problem with the internet and with app development people, is there's a lot of people that have no integrity, and you just don't know who they are because it's the internet. So that's the answer to this story, is that it's not fake, it's just not very good. So on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a great story, again, my story on clearing Teapot's name from the allegations that he had done shill bidding on his own, Detroit Pistons cards, that was a 10. Like, that's the great story. I cleared Teapot's name. Again, Jeff Wilson stole my scoop. So just so everybody's aware, I'm the one that got the apology letter from Patrick Ryan that cleared Teapot's name. Jeff Wilson then took it upon himself and stole the apology letter from my channel, didn't give me any credit for it, and said that he got the apology and that we should all move on. And this is the thing, is that on the internet, nobody knows. Nobody knows that Jeff Wilson decided to basically plagiarize my story. He stole it, didn't give me any credit for it, and then just kind of moved on. Same thing here. Darren Rovell doesn't have a story. The story is, why did Probstein's auction site Snipe fail within the first week? That's the story. Why did it fail? Because who gives a crap about allegations and rumors and shill bidding? And no, why did this thing completely collapse within 1 week of being launched? That's a story. So if you have any news and tips as to why Probstein's auction site Snipe collapsed, like so epically, please get in contact with me. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for being here. I am so grateful to my audience. You guys have built this channel into something that I didn't think was possible, but within just a couple years, we're now at 3,000 subscribers. If you want more stories and more stuff like this, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the coming days. I got a whole bunch of videos coming out, so I'll talk to you soon.